My name is Eric Benari, and this is Games People Play. In this episode, we're going to play a controversial game called Rapo. This is a game played between a man and a woman, which might more politely be called, in the milder forms at least, kiss-off or indignation. It may be played with varying degrees of intensity. In its first degree, Rapo, or kiss-off, is popular at social gatherings and consists essentially of mild flirtation. Ms. Whitman signals that she is available and gets her pleasure from the man's pursuit. As soon as he has committed himself, the game is over. If she is polite, she may quite frankly say, "I appreciate your compliments and thank you very much," and move on to the next conquest. If she is less generous, she may simply leave him. A skillful player can make the game last for a long time at a large social gathering by moving around frequently, so that the man has to carry out complicated maneuvers in order to follow her around without being too obvious. In its second degree, Rapo or indignation, Ms. Whitman gets only secondary satisfaction from Mr. Blick's advances. Her primary gratification comes from rejecting him, so that this game is also colloquially known as "Buzz Off, Buster." She leads Mr. Blick into a much more serious commitment than the mild flirtation in first-degree Rapo, and enjoys watching his discomfiture when she repulses him. Mr. Blick, of course, is not as helpless as he seems, and may have gone to considerable trouble to get himself involved specifically with her. In third-degree Rapo, it's a vicious game which ends in murder, suicide, or the courtroom. Here, Miss Whitman leads Mr. Blick into compromising physical contact and then claims that he made a criminal assault or has done her irreparable damage in some way. In its most cynical form, Miss Whitman may actually follow him to complete the sexual act so that she gets the enjoyment before confronting him. The confrontation may be immediate, as in the illegitimate cry of rape, or it may be long delayed, as in suicide or homicide following a prolonged love affair. If she chooses to play it as a criminal assault, she may have no difficulty in finding mercenary or morbidly interested allies, such as the press, the police, counselors, and even relatives. Sometimes these outsiders may cynically turn on her so that she loses the initiative and becomes a tool in their games. In some cases, outsiders perform a different function. They force the game on an unwilling Miss Whitman because they want to play "Let's you and him fight." That's a different game. They put her in such a position that in order to save her face or her reputation, she has to cry rape. This is particularly apt to happen with girls under the legal age of consent, where they may be quite willing to continue the liaison, but because it is discovered or made an issue of, they feel constrained to turn the romance into a game of third-degree Rapo. It is in one well-known biblical situation, the wary Joseph refused to be inveigled into the game of Rapo, whereupon Potiphar's wife made the classical switch into the "let's you and him fight," an excellent example of the way a hard player reacts to antithesis and to the dangers that beset people who refuse to play the games. These two games are combined into the well-known Badger game, in which the woman seduces Mr. Blick and then cries rape at which point her husband takes charge and abuses Mr. Blick for purposes of blackmail. One of the most unfortunate and acute forms of third-degree Rapo occurs relatively frequently between homosexual strangers who in a matter of an hour or so may bring the game to the point of homicide. The cynical and criminal variations of this game contribute to a large volume of sensational news copy. Let's discuss the antithesis to this game. The man's ability to avoid becoming involved in this game or to keep it under control depends on his capacity to distinguish genuine expressions of feeling from moves in this game. If he is thus able to exert social control, he may obtain a great deal of pleasure from the mild flirtations of kiss-off. On the other hand, it is difficult to conceive of a safe antithesis for the Potiphar's wife maneuver other than checking out before closing time and leaving no forwarding address. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next game that we will play.